Welcome to the Copy Closer Podcast. Today we've got a really good friend of mine, Ryan Nichols from WholesaleUniversePage.com. Make sure you go check them out. We're going to be bringing him on here because although we talk about copywriting, we talk about business, all these things, a lot of people obviously know about Amazon because you probably buy a bunch of stuff from Amazon, and this is like the Amazon king. I mean, literally, I've done business with him. The first day I met him, I invested with him. I started working with him. This guy knows his stuff. His wife, Bonnie, knows her stuff. They're a power couple, power team, and I'm excited to have them on the show with you guys. So, hey, Ryan, man, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Carlos. I'm glad to be here.
Well, dude, you were definitely the king of Amazon. I'm gonna totally dive into that, and I want to get into the tactical stuff as much as possible. Ask some really cool questions. How can people get started with it? You know, how to make sales and all that. But before we do, well, what's your background? I mean, how long have you been doing Amazon? Actually, give me a quick highlight reel of where you are now, and then take us back to what you did before Amazon and how you even stumbled upon it.
Absolutely. So right now, I own a multi-million-dollar business. We do wholesale, we do retail. And I help other business owners sell on Amazon and sell outside of the Amazon platform. And then I also sell on Amazon, Poshmark, Mercari, Shopify. We have a retail store right outside of here as well. And we've owned multiple retail stores, got my entire family involved, got a staff that's out here. You'll probably see some people moving, through here. You can see the shoe boxes over there and the clothing. And that's what we do. So there she is right there. So that's Whitney, part of my dream team back there, and she uploads products into Amazon. So that's what we do. We do training as well. I do some coaching over here as well for our VIP members. But I wasn't always here. And as you probably know and you've probably heard, I started this business from a third-story, two-bedroom apartment with my wife with $2,000 to our name, and we started from there. So really, if you want to go back further than that, we started Wholesale Universe out of a third-story, two-bedroom apartment. But I was in the Marine Corps, and Bonnie had a high-risk pregnancy, and we weren't even able to make ends meet living on base as an active-duty Marine. And so Bonnie had to stop working, and the Marine Corps wasn't paying me enough money to be able to pay the bills. So I found out about selling on eBay, and that's how I started doing things, was selling on eBay and going to flea markets. And then I sold on eBay, I think it was like 6 to 8 months before I got out of the Marines, and then moved back to Houston, did some plumbing for 3 months, and had a little situation that I didn't really like with plumbing. And so I was beating on some pipes one day below a house, and then I had some dirty, some poop water go in my mouth. And I was like, never again. I'm never doing plumbing ever again. I'm going to do some cleaning work. So I started selling on Amazon and started going back to flea markets. And we started Wholesale Universe out of our third-story, two-bedroom apartment, and took out a $10,600 loan. Many people probably know this company called Cabbage. And so we took out a Cabbage loan for $10,600. It should be illegal. They gave me like a 30% interest rate on a 6-month payoff for $10,600. I kept my next month's rent and the next payment for the Cabbage loan, which was $2,700 back. And then I used the rest of the money to start buying inventory and reselling it. And that's what we did. We made the 6-month payments back, and we just kept on going from there in business. So within 3 months, we ran our own retail store, a little 1,250 square foot retail store. And then a couple months later, we moved to an 8,300 square foot retail store. And then we moved into a 10,000 square foot building, which we're in now. So it's had its highs, it's had its lows, but here we are, still pushing along.
I'm curious. That's an amazing story, man. I know it's true because I've seen the kind of like the progression, and it's like unbelievable how fast you've grown. There's a lot of folks who have, online businesses, but not many that have a real location. I mean, you have a legitimate staff, you have a real location. We just saw your staff walking back and forth. There's something about that I think that makes you more legitimate, but also the reason why is because you've taken real business steps. You haven't just kind of stuck behind the keyboard. Now you're investing in a team, you're investing in growing your business so that you can help more clients and help yourself and all these other folks. But what I think is a cool differentiator to point out is you weren't scared to take out a loan.
Correct. And so far to date, I've almost have $500,000 worth of loans taken out. And so when I saw what $10,600 did for me on a brand new startup when I had no money at all, and very little knowledge. Just the knowledge enough to just turn around and resell it. Over the span of the last 4+ years, we've taken out, I think it was around $750,000 in loans. We paid that down to $450,000 and just still paying it off today. But $450,000 in loans has created me well over 6 figures in cash flow per month. So I look at it as, yeah, I may have taken out $500,000 in loan and be $500,000 in debt, but I'm creating $150,000, $250,000, $300,000 in cash flow per month. And that's what goes to service that debt as well. And I'm not looking at it to make money right now and make money for the next 1 to 2 years. Like, I have a 5, 10, 20, 30-year business going on here. So it's not about what's going on right now. It's about what can I do 5 and 10 years from now.
Well, it seems smart. It's like you're leveraging other people's money here. You're leveraging the bank's money or whoever's money is the loan, you're getting that from. So that's has it gotten easier to borrow money?
It has. And the farther that I've got along, when we first started borrowing money, it was from places like Cabbage that wanted to give you 30%. It was from private investors, like we had down in Houston. We had a gentleman that loaned us around $300,000 or $400,000 of the money that we have today. And he loaned it to us. The first couple of loans were at 12%, one was at 4%, and then one was at 18%. But when I look at what I'm doing and I say, like, hey, Amazon's going to bring me, last year alone on one account, it brought me 171% ROI net year to date. So when I understand that I'm going to be bringing in 171%, I'm willing to pay that 18% to borrow $250,000. So that's what we've done. Now, after being in business for 2 years and having...
Wait, you've only done this for 2 years?
No, what I was getting to is after being in business for 2 years, you can go to the bank and start getting loans from them. So what we were able to do is, after 2 years of tax returns, after 2 years of positive financials and positive bank statements, I was able to go to the bank and say, hey, I don't want to pay 18% anymore. I want, anywhere between a 3 to a 5% loan, even a 6 or a 7% loan, which cuts off 11% or more, 15% of what I was paying, to a private investor over there. So that's what we started doing, was after we were in business for 2 years, and I couldn't get it at the 2-year mark because I didn't have good enough financials. I had to wait till my 3rd year in business before the bank, Chase, gave us a line of credit for $100,000, but they gave it to us at 3.5%. So now I'm not paying 18%, I'm paying 3.5% on a line of credit over a loan.
Oh my goodness, man. And you've actually, the reason I said 2 years, I stopped you there because I remember I thought it was a little longer, but you've seen this success like in super speed, right? How long have you been in business? How long has all this taken you so far?
I've been in business since July 27th of 2015 for Wholesale Universe, but we were selling on e-commerce for 1.5 to 2 years before that. And what I'm quick to tell people is Wholesale Universe wasn't my idea. Overall, the pack and ship program that we do, me and Bonnie didn't come up with that. We took that from a company that they had a good thing going down in Houston, but they weren't treating their clients the correct way. They weren't delivering. And so when they went out of business, me and Bonnie said, well, we know how to do this and we know how to make it work. So we took off with it and made it run. So 2,500 plus clients later, we've dealt, now I say 2,500, but it's been 2,500 since 2018. But I just use that as a whole number. So now it's probably 2,750 clients that we've dealt with over the last 4+ years. And we've helped them make over $20 million on Amazon. Us ourselves this year, let me look at it. Just today alone, where's my Amazon? We've made close to $300,000 or $400,000 on just one Amazon account this year, and we have 2 Amazon accounts. So last year it was $690,000, $200,000 in profit off of an original $75,000 that we put inside of there on designer inventory. That you would find inside of a big box department retail store. Nike, Adidas, Puma, Under Armour, Michael Kors, Coach, Ralph, things like that.
Let's shift into that, because see, that's perfect leading into the next question. What was it that you sold in the beginning to kind of get your initial success? And then what is that you're selling now? What should people start looking at, for products and stuff?
And that's a great question right there, Carlos. So what I started doing when I first started in California, when I was at Camp Pendleton in the Marine Corps, I was selling the iPhone 5 earbuds. When those new earbuds just came out for the iPhone 5s, I was buying the fake ones from over in China, bringing them in, and then listing them as fake, that they were like the iPhone 5 earbuds. And I got to the #2 listing on eBay. Out of 116,000 listings, we were #2. We were selling like 50 to 75 of these a day. So I realized that you could sell a lot and make a lot of money on there. But I was like, there's got to be something more than making 20 cents per item. You know, I've got to be able to make a lot more profit than that. So the company that we got our idea from, I actually started buying products from there. And then I found out how to get contracts directly with these big box retailers like Macy's, Dillard's, Bloomingdale's, places like that. They're like, hey, you're going to have to buy X amount of products per month. And so I was like, well, I can't do that myself, so I have to become a wholesaler. So I started going through trials of what worked best for me based off of my clients. You know, my clients, some people would buy bedding, some people would buy handbags, some people would buy clothing, some people would buy shoes. And then they would come back to me and be like, hey, I want to buy $10,000 more worth of that, or I want to buy $5,000 more worth of that. So I was like, okay, these are good sellers. These are good sellers. That's a good seller right there. And that's how I would know what to sell and what also to offer out to our client base as well. Now, when we got a year and a half into business, I started gaining more capital. And that's what I was actually talking about on this whiteboard back here was, I'll bring it over real quick. It's cool that we actually got into this. I talked about my chapters in business. My chapters in business went from being broke with no knowledge to 2, being broke with a little knowledge, 3, being broke with a lot of knowledge, 4, having a little money, and I started growing more knowledge, and then 5, having more money than that, but feeling the need for even more knowledge than I had ever had, you know? And so that was basically where we were at, where I started getting to was I went from being broke with no knowledge to broke with a little more, broke and started feeling like I knew a lot of stuff. Then I started gaining money and realizing how little I knew and how much more than I needed to learn. So when I started getting a little bit of money, that's when I started buying these products for myself and started selling them myself and started saying, okay, well, you know, I first started selling customer return bedding, and I sold it in my retail stores, and I also sold it on eBay as well. And customer return bedding, when I was in Houston for that market, did very well. But when I moved up to Longview up here after Hurricane Harvey pushed us out, customer return bedding doesn't sell up here like it does down in Houston because there's a whole different client base. So it really just depends on where you are in the United States, what type of target audience you're looking for. And I started realizing that shoes and clothing sold best for us. And now we're even getting farther into not selling as many shoes like you see right here, but selling more activewear like the Nike, the Under Armour, the Adidas, the sports bras, the tank tops, the shorts, the basketball shorts, things like that. So I've gone through a lot of trials to figure out what works for me and what doesn't. And it's come down. I used to think clothing wasn't the best seller and shoes were right here. And it's come down that clothing is really our best seller online and offline. So it just took a lot of trials and a lot of me spending my own money. What I tell people is my first year in business, I made $893,000 in sales, but overall lost $40,000. Okay, so I almost made $1 million in sales, lost $40,000 trying to figure out the process. Second year in business, made $1.5 million, and then profited 6 figures. Same thing, doubled it last year, you know, in 2018. So it just takes time to figure out what worked for me. And then I've got some clients, they don't like shoes. They don't like clothing. You know, they only like dealing with bedding or they only like dealing with handbags. So ultimately that comes down to the individual with what do they like selling. And I saw like a gentleman this morning talk about it on Facebook, and he was like, you know, don't go chasing money, chase the lifestyle that you want. And I'm telling the people, my clients, the same thing when they buy products. Don't chase just what's going to make you money. Chase what you enjoy selling, because if you enjoy selling it, you'll always figure out ways to make money. And so that's why we've been able to swap between multiple different categories, is because I enjoy selling those different categories for different reasons as well.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And there's something that's interesting in your business. You do a lot of stuff on Amazon, obviously, but you've also got retail stores. What put in, did you start the Amazon business first and then open the retail store? And
yeah.
Okay, so why was that?
Actually, no, we didn't. And so I opened a retail store first, and we were selling on eBay, and then we were selling inside of a retail store. Now, when I say a retail store, Carlos, my retail store down in Houston was my 3rd-story 2-bedroom apartment. So we would be inviting people over to Wholesale Universe, and they're like, wait a minute, this is an apartment complex. And I'm like, come on up, you know, they would have to go up 3 flights of stairs. And I know people were thinking, like, this is some shady stuff right here. Like, I don't know what I'm walking into. But then they walked in there. I had bedding on the furniture, bedding on the cabinets, bedding on the shelves, bedding in the restrooms, on the, you know, the spare bedroom, bedding everywhere inside of the house. And so they would shop. Okay. And I realized
you live there also?
I lived there also. Okay.
What hustlers. I love this.
So, I mean, that's the way that we started out. We started out by getting as little overhead as we could, so that way I could pay the bills, make money. And at that time, I had a personal bank account and a business bank account, and all of my money was in the business bank account. My personal account stayed on 0. And so when I had to pay a bill, or when I went to the grocery store and it rang up for $192.77, I would have to tell the people behind me, excuse me for just a second, log on to my banking app and transfer over $192.77 into my personal account, and then swipe my card and let it go back to 0. And that's how we left every bit of money inside of the business bank account, and in turn that inside of that apartment complex. That's why we were in a retail store within 3 months. As far as
real quick, I just want to stop you there, because that's a really interesting point. That's something Tiffany and I are doing now. We've stopped really taking out any money from our business, and now we're investing more in our team. We have funnel builders now, but it means I go broke for a little until that really starts flipping. So at what point did you start kind of paying yourself? Like, what point in monthly revenue or something like that did you say, okay, maybe I'll take a little bit and put it to the side for myself and Bonnie?
So that's a really good question right there. And that's what a lot of people ask.
This is my consulting right here.
Yeah, this is where a lot of people ask that question going into business. And for us, it was when we knew that when we started a month at, you know, $3,000 in the bank, and we ended it after all bills paid, even including paying ourselves, at $5,000, or we started that month with $5,000 in the bank account and ended with $12,000 in there, with rent due and everything due, like, you know, the rent due here at the warehouse, everything's due, and there's still more money in the bank account. That's when we're like, okay, we've used that money to pay our bills. For tax purposes, and including our CPA was like, you need to start paying yourself out a specific amount. So we started small. And it started out to where Bonnie would take $500 per week and I would take $500 per week, you know. And even now with the multi-million-dollar company, she takes $5,000 per month. I take $5,000 per month for a total of $10,000. So we take home $120,000 per month before taxes.
Per year
before taxes. And that's exactly what we do. But we keep so much money in the business bank account that we can pay back the debt with it, service the debt, service the line of credits as well, buy a ton of inventory. And what I say, and what, you know, when people come over here and look through, when me and Bonnie look in the warehouse, I have a 10,000 square foot warehouse full of products. Okay, so people are like, well, you know, or even me and Bonnie are like, well, where's the money at? You know, when it seems like that bank account may be getting low, we're like, where's the money at? The money is invested in products already. And so I know that the money is already invested in products that are worth 3 to 5, sometimes 6 and 7 times the amount of what I paid for. Right, so they're sitting right here. I don't know if you can see this inside. You see that retail store back there?
That's right. For the listeners who aren't watching the video, he just pointed out a bunch of inventory.
Yeah, a ton of inventory. You know, so that's just the retail store, and that's around 2,500 square foot. I still have around 6,000 or 7,000 square foot that's in the back, not including where my staff is right now. Where inventory just sits inside of the warehouse, and we list it on Poshmark. We list it on Mercari, we list it on Amazon, or we put it right there in the retail store and let local shoppers come in and shop it every single day.
So let's say that's bad. You've got a humongous, or 10,000 square feet is huge. I'm remembering my old martial arts school was 3,000 square feet, and I thought that was big. 10,000.
I thought when I first started that 1,250 square foot was big. Like, I was just happy to be out of the apartment, you know, and not having people coming into my house every day. So it really all is relative to perspective.
Well, so for the folks who end up working with you and want and like buy wholesale products from you and work with you, can they actually go to your warehouse since you've got a big location?
Absolutely. Yeah, I have people come in that not only shop our retail stores, but I bring clients in here as well. I love showing people my office. I love showing them the process back here, letting them actually hold the inventory in their hands, letting them go back to the warehouse and see the thousands of pairs of shoes and thousands of pieces of clothing that are back there, and then letting them see the retail store as well. And it gives them a little coaching session as well of I'm not just trying to sell to you, but I'm showing you the process, because this is the process that it takes to be successful in retail. You know, you can sell on Amazon all day long. Some people try to only sell on Amazon, but eventually you will have to sell outside of Amazon. And so for a long time, I tried to only sell on Amazon and keep it an Amazon-only company. But I realized that's why places like Toys R Us or Sears are going out of business, because they're not opening up and selling outside of other platforms besides their retail store. You can't just make it one-dimensional. It has to be multi-dimensional. And if you're not willing to do that, you are eventually going to fail, and you will start losing money, and you will eventually go out of business.
That's a really great point. My buddy Gallant Dill and I were talking months ago, and he was saying he gave me some great advice. He's like, man, you got to get yourself 5 traffic sources. That way because I was talking to him, I'm like, dude, I keep getting shut down by Facebook and this. And so he was the first one to say, dude, you got to get 5 traffic sources in place. And so it's kind of similar to what you're saying here. Instead of relying all on Amazon, you not spread yourself thin, but spread yourself on platforms so you can succeed.
That's what I tell folks. And that's really great advice by Gallant. And I've seen you do it as well. Start going out there, and it's not just, a lot of people think 5 different traffic, 5 different sources. They think that they need to have 5 different ways of making income. Sometimes it's not 5 different ways of making income, like in different industries. It's 5 different ways within the same industry to make money. So we're in the retail business and the wholesale business. So it's not just about selling on Amazon, but it's about selling on Poshmark, on Mercari, on eBay, on Shopify, on Facebook Marketplace, here in a retail store, on flea markets, trade shows. Like, there's so many different ways just within the retail industry to sell online without just having to be one-dimensional and selling on Amazon. And that's the biggest thing that I beat into my clients, especially my VIPs, is that you've got to be bigger than just Amazon. Yes, it's a big platform, but what if they just shut you down or suspend your account or review your account, and you don't know what the reason is, and it takes 30 or 45 days to get going back up? If it even gets going back up, what happens if that happens? And it's happened to me before, and thankfully, going through an account review or an account suspension when I was waiting for it to get open back up, I had wholesale, I had retail, I had Poshmark, I had Mercari, I had eBay and Facebook Marketplace, and I could still bring in money from multiple areas and not just rely solely on Amazon. So that's my biggest piece of advice, is not just try to find 5 different ways of making money, but find 5 different ways within the same industry to make money. And that's how you'll be super successful and bring in a lot of different traffic and a lot of different cash flow.
Gosh, I love it. I love it. And you mentioned a few other sources there, like Poshmark, Mercari or something. What are some of the top places that, like, other locations people can sell on other than Amazon?
So you've got Amazon. Obviously, it's the biggest platform in the world, but there's a lot of restrictions that go into it. So if you're going to sell outside of Amazon, what I would recommend is looking at 2 places, Poshmark and Mercari. Okay, Poshmark has a little bit higher fees, but it's social media based. So you've got people that will share it out. You'll get a lot of followers, and you're able to request, I think, daily payouts on there. My staff, I have a staff member that uploads full time into Poshmark and Mercari for us. Actually, 2 staff members that do that. So Mercari is where we list our lower end items, kind of like eBay, our lower end items that have some minor defects or damages on them, or that we know is just lower end. But Mercari has a 10% fee versus Poshmark with its 20% fee, and Mercari has daily payouts as well. So if you wanted to do Mercari, they do daily payouts also. eBay, I stopped selling on eBay a couple of years ago, just because they were trying to compete with Amazon, and they just couldn't quite do it. And so I like dealing with the Poshmark and Mercari platform. You can use an app right on your phone. You can take pictures, you can upload it onto the app, and then start selling directly off the phone. And that's what our staff members do back here, is they take pictures directly from an iPhone, and then put it right onto a Mercari or Poshmark, list it, put it back there in the warehouse, and when it sells, they ship it up and pack it out to USPS, and USPS comes and picks it up every single day and ships it out. So that's where I would recommend outside of Amazon, Poshmark and Mercari, along with Facebook Marketplace, which is a very huge platform to sell on. And then look for your local flea markets, local consignment shops, trade shows. Like, there's lots of different places. Even if you don't want to have your own retail store, put your products in somebody else's retail store and pay them a consignment fee. It's a great way to sell products.
Gee, man, you think so outside of the box, and that's something that a lot of folks don't do, especially with the internet. You've really, First off, a couple things. The whole game of retail has just changed. It looks like speed wins. You've got a staff over there taking pictures with their phone, uploading, creating money basically just from their phone for you guys. And then it blows my mind how crazy things have changed in like just the last 10 or 15 years, you know? Geez, that just blows me away. Okay.
Great. I mean, the reason that we stay on top of things over here is I have a staff back here. The reason I hired this staff is because I do sales. I take sales phone calls. I do podcasts. I'm not able to keep up with all the changes myself. And so when I realized that this company was a lot bigger than just Ryan and Bonnie, that's when I've got this team over here, Kevin and Whitney and Brittany and Dawn and Candace back there. You know, they go through it. Bonnie, she does her thing as well. She runs the entire back end of the company. I run the front end. She runs the back end. But I've got people back here that know Amazon 100% and go in there and they tell me about changes, you know. And so I rely on my staff over here, just like they rely on me to make sales and bring in clients for the company. Well, I rely on them to tell me the changes that are going on. And so that's where we bounce ideas off of each other. And it's a lot bigger than just Ryan here at Wholesale Universe. It may seem like I do a lot of the videos and it's just Ryan. I've got an entire team that runs this place, not just myself.
So that's awesome, man. And you know, you guys, I know you guys have customer service, unbelievable customer service, because whenever I had an issue, not even an issue, but a question really, I mean, we had a response in less than 24 hours. We were on a phone call with somebody. It was badass. So you guys are really top of the line in your industry and what you guys do. Where can people find more about you and see how they can work with you and if they qualify to work with you and all that good stuff?
Absolutely. So you can go to our website at any time at www.wholesaleuniversepage.com. And if you go to our website, wholesaleuniversepage.com, you'll see I have tabs up there at the top. I have the Shop Wholesale tab, the Amazon VIP Package Ship Program tab, which the Package Ship Program is where we ship products into Amazon. Now, the doors used to be open for everybody to do that. Now I only take 100 clients doing that at a time. So I've got 82 people inside of there. Yeah, 82 people inside there. I've got 18 members left that we're going to take for the package ship program. So you'll see e-com coaching, get financing, easier accounting, contact us, our reviews, and other articles that we have up there. And I'll also have this podcast under the articles as well, so they can go in there and watch it inside of there. So you can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Wholesale Universe page. We have over 12,000 members on our Facebook page. We do tons of videos. And I do a lot of training on there as well. This whiteboard back here that you see, that's where I do a lot of whiteboard videos for our clients in our VIP group and also on the Facebook page. And if you don't want to go to Facebook, or if you don't have a Facebook, then you can either find us on Instagram at Wholesale Universe, or you can call or text me on my little red phone right here, 903-746-5606. Call or text. I don't mind. I answer all times of the day.
Guys, check him out if you want to get started online, if you want to get started with Amazon and getting killer products. You guys have designer products. I mean, what kind of products do you guys have?
So we carry anything that you would find inside of a big box department retail store. You know, shoes, bedding, clothing, handbags is our main four. We are getting into a lot of activewear right now. So that includes Michael Kors, Coach, Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, Nine West, INC, Alford. We're also getting into other brands like Nike, Adidas, Puma, Under Armour, and then a lot of the Calvin Klein when it comes to the activewear. So anything that you would find inside of a big box department retail store, you will find with us at 70 to 90% off the original retail price. We can ship it to you, or you can join our VIP Amazon package ship program, and we'll ship it to Amazon directly for you.
Guys, make sure you check that out, wholesaleuniversepage.com. Again, it's wholesaleuniversepage.com. Check out Ryan. Ryan, man, thank you so much for coming on this show, dude. It's been amazing.
I appreciate you having me, Carlos.
Take care.